Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gayle Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. My guest today is Geary, coming all the way from the UK to be with us. And she is a social media coach at the Get Savvy Club. After running several businesses, such as recruitment, property, and marketing, she realized she had a talent for social media and created a system along with experienced corporate marketing expert Anita Baldwin, who is her business partner in the Get Savvy Club, which attracted clients in less time. They decided to join forces to help as many people attract more clients using social media in less time with their Get Savvy Club online programs. Welcome, Anna.
Hello, thank you very much for having me on.
Well, I think that social media takes so much time, and we hear all the time, well, if you really do it right, it only takes you an hour a day and blah, blah, blah. So we have a lot of questions for you, but let's find out how and when you got the Get Savvy Club to get started.
Yeah, well, Anita and I knew each other quite a while ago, actually. Our children, our oldest daughters, who are now, well, they're 13, when they were in reception, which is like 4+, they were in the same class, but we didn't know each other that well because Anita was very corporate. She just dropped her daughter off and went off, but we connected on Facebook and that was pretty much it. But so Anita was in the corporate world, and then she wanted to stop being in the corporate world and wanted to do some local networking. And because in the area that we live, Leicester, I literally know everyone. Anita reached out to me and said, "Oh, could we have a coffee? I want to pick your brains of the best places to go." So I introduced her to a few different networking events, and then we kind of kept bumping into each other. And even when I had the recruitment business and the property businesses, I had a lot of people ask me, because I used social media to, build up the businesses. And a lot of people kept saying, why don't you do social media? And I couldn't think of anything worse than jumping on somebody else's social media, logging into their Facebook, doing posts for them. I just couldn't see past that. But I'd done a couple of LinkedIn trainings in the recruitment business that I have, like to help clients do better with LinkedIn. And I thought, you know what, people keep asking for this, and I could actually coach them, stop wasting money on social media managers that aren't adding any value. I could actually coach them how to, with Anita, Anita obviously knows the strategy of marketing and I know sales. We decided to kind of come together. Initially, it was just going to be something additional to what we were doing with our own things, but it's kind of taken off now. So it's both of our main things, the Get Savvy Club now. So yeah, we kind of went from there, really.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic. So who would your mentors be?
We have a variety of different mentors, actually. So I personally, there's a guy in the UK who runs a property business, quite a large property training company. And he's a real sort of, he's really forward thinking in terms of what he tries out, and he's always testing different marketing things. And I've followed him for a long time. So he's a mentor. I've read his books. I go along to his trainings and things. So he's a mentor. His name's Rob Moore. And for example, the Facebook has a stars function now, and only 20 people in the world have this stars function and supporter group function, and he has that. So he's right at the front of all this. So he's someone that I 100% follow him, and also Gary V. I don't know if you know Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary V, right?
Yeah. So they're like mentors that, I watch from afar, if you like, but Rob I do see. And then we have a business coach, but more rather than actually for day-to-day what we're doing, it's more for the business side of things, just sort of staying on track, staying on focus, really, making sure that we know what we're doing of the back office side of a business, as opposed to the day-to-day things. So they're our sort of closest mentors, I guess.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people don't believe that they need mentors or coaches, and I find that most successful people have many mentors and coaches,
Oh, of
not
course
just
they
one.
do. Yeah, I mean, Rob, who I follow, he said he worked out. I think he spent like 1.2 million pounds on mentors and training and courses and things over the years. So, he's spent that. I'm piggybacking off the back of that. I'm constantly, Anita and I, we actually go on social media courses. So we went on an Instagram course not that long ago. Just to make sure, even if we go on a course that's 2 days and we just pick up one thing that we didn't know before, we can sort of filter it back to our clients. So we're all about just keep educating ourselves and, getting fresh mentor. In actual fact, we have a lot of people say, "Oh, I wanted to be your business coach," and we're like, "Well, no, you can't have everyone be your business coach." But we definitely see the value of that, and you can't really be a coach yourself if you don't believe in the power of coaching, and if you're not out there, using coaches to get yourself to the next level.
That's so true. That is so true. But you're also in a partnership, and there are good partnerships and there are bad partnerships. So, any tips for our listeners on what it's like working as a partner?
It's really funny because people that know me know that I've got like quite opinionated. I know, my very much like know myself, and I have like not strong opinions, but I won't do anything unless I want to do it. So I'm very like I've only pretty much only have one person that's managed to manage me in all my jobs that I had before I worked for myself. But actually, Anita is probably slightly more stronger character even than I am. So what we tend to do is if something really matters hugely to her, and I'm not bothered, I'll just go with that, and vice versa. But we did someone was telling us about these profiling that sort of to find out about partnerships and if you'll work or not, types of people that you are. And it actually turns out that she's a director type, so she's to the point, knows what she wants, how to get it, doesn't like people being too fluffy. And then I'm an entertainer type, so I'm more the kind of person that would, in a room of people, be able to sort of, I don't know, float around a bit like a social butterfly and get on with everyone. And but I'm not fluffy around it. I'm not, I am to the point and I can still crack on and do things. So apparently our profiles do work together. And I think it's good that we knew each other, but we weren't really good friends before. And we have really different skill sets as well. That helps massively, because it's no good you're being in a partnership with your very best friend and you've got the same personality and you've got the same skill set, because you're both going to want to do the same things. So with us, we have like Anita is her background's marketing, my background arguably sales over and above everything else, and they're the two main things that you need, I think, to be able to move a business forward. So we kind of just we haven't clashed yet, because we're very open with each other about who's doing what and where we are with things. But yeah, I've backed down on a couple of things that she's cared massively about. Same with her. But I think it's key with partnerships. You've got the same values, and you've got the same goal between you, but actually you've got very different skill sets. I think that's a win-win with partnerships, and just being like transparent as you can. We've gone into this sort of saying, we don't expect that it's going to last 30, 40, 50 years. If it does, great. Yeah, but we have like we've got similar goals, similar values, children the same age as well. So it's not like one of us has got kids, the other one hasn't. She's got a daughter that's 13 and a son that's 11. I've got a daughter that's 13 and a son that's 7. So similar sort of, not backgrounds at all, because she's super, she's the one with all the, degrees and formal academic education.
But you balance each other. You balance each other. And that's the important thing in a partnership. You can't bring the same skills to a partnership. Great partnership.
Apparently she calms me down a bit, apparently, people have said, or like reins me in, but which is good, because otherwise I get too excited. I go running too far ahead and mess things up, and not be as detail orientated as perhaps you need to be. But yet then I drag her, because I didn't realize when we first started working together, I was like, we need to get some branded photos. We need to get this photographer. And I didn't realize, like, she was really nervous about that. And she was like, oh, do we really? And part of her, she didn't want to do it. Well, she did want to do it, but it was only because I was like, full steam ahead, we're getting this guy, we're going to do these photos. And then afterwards, she was like, I was really nervous about doing that. And that the photo shoot went really well, and we got some great images. So she was glad that we did it. But she said, would that be the first thing she'd think to do if she was getting a business? She said, probably not. So, yeah, she was glad that I kind of pushed her out of her comfort zone a bit. And
you made another great point, though, Anna, and that is sales and marketing are different. Some people think they're the same.
Oh, no, they're not.
Marketing is getting people aware of who you are and getting your message out there, and sales are closing the deal.
Yeah.
And it's very much different. Absolutely. So tell us about a time that you failed. I mean, everything seems like it's going really well, but tell us about a time when you did fail.
Oh, gosh. Where do I start? Loads of times. I guess the last business that I had I was in recruitment for 17 years. So that was working for people and then being a director as well. But I kind of fell out of love with it because it wasn't the same type of industry as it was when I first joined. When I first joined, it was very salesy. It was you had to go headhunt the great clients, whereas now it's very much an admin job, really. Not for everyone, but in the area of expertise that I did, which is financial recruitment, you can just go on LinkedIn now and find your FC, your financial controllers, your FDs. But whereas when I started, you had to hunt these down and whatever. So I wanted to do something different, but I wasn't too sure what. And I went along to a property event all about different ways of doing property. And I found out there was a thing called property sourcing. I don't know if you have a similar thing, but basically you find a house that someone's looking to sell. They're desperate to sell it for whatever reason. They need to sell it fast. You secure it for less money, and then you trade it on. So it's the kind of, whereas estate agents charge to sell a house, we as property sources would charge the person buying the house because they'd get a deal. And when I heard about this strategy, I was like, oh, cool. It's very similar to recruitment. It's speaking to people. It's the same skill set. Great. And so I started doing it. And then I wrongly left the recruitment business too early to focus on the property business because I wasn't as passionate about it. And I thought, you know what, actually, it makes sense to move on. So I left that to people have this assumption that I when I stopped being in recruitment, I had a huge payout, but I didn't. I actually walked away and started doing the property business. But I soon realized I wasn't as I'm actually not that great at business on my own. So I do think I'd have like deals where I'd do a deal on a handshake. This is my fault because I should have took responsibility and done better contracts. And, you know, actually when I was working with people, I should have got them to sign things, but I didn't. I just thought like everybody else would be like me. If we've shook hands on it, then, you know, at the end of the process, you'll pay me what we agree. Anyway, I used to, bit of a nightmare because I had people sort of say like the fee was going to be £9,000, then they just turn around and go, no, I'll give you £2,000. I had ones that I worked on for ages and then nothing came of them because if the deal doesn't complete, then you don't get your cash. So I got myself in quite a bit of a mess with that, and I think that's why it's so much better for me to be in a partnership with someone that's a bit more, and have the business coach as well, that's a bit more wise to sort of say, right, make sure you've got your contract, make sure you work it, you know, you've got all of that back stuff done. So yeah, I massively failed in the property business, really. And I just realized I'm not, especially in the area that I live, the property world is very cutthroat. And being in business, doing recruitment, where although I had the title director, I wasn't actually involved in that side of the business. I was still very much just a salesperson, I'd say. You know, obviously I went out one business, but I wasn't negotiating contracts in terms of like what telephone company to use or which things like that. So actually, I failed in that. I had a chocolate fountain hire business once before, and I quickly realised that I was fantastic at getting the bookings. So I'd go to wedding fairs, I'd get the brides to agree to, you know, for my business to run the chocolate fountain hire, the chocolate fountain for their wedding. And then when I started actually physically doing the running the chocolate fountains, I hated the smell, I hated the process, I hated it. So it's like I kind of dashed into it instead of thinking like, let me trial a few, let me go along with somebody else, I just bought the chocolate fountain, got the products, got all of these, got absolute ton of, events that I could run, lots of business, but then I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. So people would argue perhaps what I should have done there is maybe just shadowed somebody that ran a chocolate fountain high business for a few weeks first and worked out that it wasn't kind of for me. So yeah, all sorts of things really. But I think that's if you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, that's the only way I think you kind of have to.
You're like a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But what you mentioned before, in the old days, you could do it on a handshake. Now everything, only because there are so many attorneys and barristers involved, that you really have to have a contract, because if not, you're going to be screwed. So you're absolutely right. So what is your driving force to succeed then, Anna?
Well, I come from quite a poor background. So my dad worked in a factory and my mum was just a part-time cleaner. So my drive to succeed initially was just to make sure that I wasn't poor, basically, not be in poverty. But then the bigger picture, I guess, is to change the sort of way that my family line is, because my family, sort of previous to me, it's not, it's either they have drink problems or, there's lots of issues in and around my family. So I feel like I'm the person that needs to break the cycle. And so I don't drink, I haven't drank for 10 years. And I feel like I'm the person to break the cycle so that my children then go on to live a better life. And then actually the rest of the family generation has more of a chance, I guess, of succeeding. And then just for me, it's about, I really now I'm sort of focused on creating wealth so that I can be secure within myself, but then obviously be able to give back as well, to give to various, I like to think to help people, because kids, if they're in a poverty driven home, like they can't do anything until they're 16, 17, 18. Even though we've got all the tools, we've got YouTube videos we can watch, we can do whatever we can to learn how to make money. The kids are stuck wherever they are until they get to an age. So for me, it's about trying to, how I was fortunate enough to find self-help books when I was very young, even though everyone around me used to take the mick out of me for reading them, including my two brothers, feel the fear and do it anyway, all of that. And it was physically just books then. Obviously, we've got YouTube videos, podcasts, we've got so many more things that we can so many more places we can get free education now. But for me, it's about helping those people that perhaps are like me, in living in a sort of world where they're like, actually, I'm better than this. I can do more than this. I want to be the best that I can. And so I want to get to be the best that I can, but then also be able to sort of put a hand back and get other people to get that confidence, because I didn't have any confidence when I was younger. And I was literally saying to someone the other day, actually, I was the kind of kid that if I was around a friend's house and I'd be really thirsty and the mum would say, do you want a drink? I'd say no. And then I'd be like, why did I say no? But it's just because I didn't have the confidence to say, yes, I would like a drink, because I thought, oh, they're going to get a drink, I might spill it. Do you know? And there's so many people that are kind of living not the best life that they can live because they don't know any different. And I want to get so that actually they can dare to step out of where they are and get better, I guess.
And that's really a key point, is that because all your friends are doing something or because people surrounding you are doing something doesn't mean you have to do it either, so that's where your mentors come in and your coaches come in and people who can lead you down the right path. So what are you curious about now?
Curious about in terms of?
Well, living your life. How do you keep yourself motivated? And, how do you live the best life possible?
I'm always trying to constantly improve myself so that I can improve the surroundings of myself. So, looking at, I really want to get into yoga, because I've seen my business coach, actually, she has recently lost 5 stone, and it's just from switching up what her diet was. And she's 60, by the way, and she's always been big. because she just like, you know, it's really amusing as well because people always ask her, what's your secret, and actually she just started eating less and did yoga, and people don't want to hear that. They want to hear that she had a magic diet pill or a gastric band or whatever, and she's like, no, honestly, all I did. And she always visualized, she always knew as an older lady she'd be slimmer, so she kind of just used to have a really, really poor diet, didn't do any exercise, and then one day she thought, you know what, I'm 60, I need to, I want to be doing, she's, you know, out there, she's constant. She wants to be doing what she's doing until she's like 96, and she's not going to be able to do it in the body that she had. So she just started researching, started eating like 1,600 calories, as opposed to the 3,000 odd that she was eating before, and literally just started doing yoga every day. So, and she is not only, because some people lose weight and it doesn't look great, but she lost weight, but done the yoga at the same time. She looks fantastic. So I love to explore yoga, and because I'm into my meditation. Have you heard of the Miracle Morning?
I've heard of it. I'm not familiar with it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a book by a guy called Hal Elrod. I think I've said that right. And it's all about like waking up that bit earlier and giving yourself some time every morning. So maybe like 5 minutes silence, some affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So like journaling. And I've been doing that for the last month or so. And that's really great to kind of get up before the rest of the house does. Because obviously with the two kids, sometimes it can be mayhem. So and just have that bit of me time. And I do feel actually the day kind of goes better now from doing that, which is good. So yeah, so I want to be doing that, and then to see how far we can kind of take the Get Savvy Club, really. To like to do books, and we need to be cracking on doing our podcast as well. So when we launch the podcast, we'll 100% get you on as a guest. When we've done that. How long have you had your podcast?
How long have I been doing them?
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing radio for 20 years.
Yeah.
So now, of course, the radio shows turn into podcasts after they're on, you know, but I've been doing radio for a long time. So, yeah. And of course, this is all brand new stuff, you know. So what are your thoughts? We've got about 5 minutes left. Okay. What are your thoughts on the negative impact social media has on society? And do you have any tips to combat it?
Yeah, I think it's really important to like when we've got children or younger children to really limit the amount of time that they are using it, and monitoring, because so many people just let their kids just sit on their phone and they don't have a clue what they're going on and what they're doing. I think it's about being, I mean, we say to our clients, we have a thing called because we're the Get Savvy Club, we have this thing called Be Your Savvy Self. So there's an exercise that we take people through where they think about their values of their business, and then embody that in everything that they do when they go on social media. So they've almost like got their armor of their savvy self on when they put things out. So if they get trolling or some keyboard warrior or some negativity, they can think, okay, because they already put their armor of being their savvy self on, you know, to not feel like that it's personal attack. And actually these people, you know, just basically pity these people, not, you know, and, you know, move onwards and upwards from it. So that's what we kind of tell people. I mean, in terms of the negativity, the world changes all the time. Things evolve all the while. You know, we had the TV, you know, a number of years ago that was a new thing. And I think that's far more negative than social media, because the TV was just a box that just bombarded you with adverts and told you how to think, whereas at least social media, if you have an adult head, you should be able to understand what's real and what's not, and kind of you know, just limit the time, because so many people we work with, they think it's time consuming doing social media, and we say actually if you're managing it properly, it's just another business tool. It's just a communication channel, and you know, you need to be a producer, not a consumer of social media. So just get yourself in the mindset of producing on there to build your business, create your wealth, not someone that's just on there like consuming images and feeling bad about yourself or buying stuff or whatever. Just get on there, produce what you're doing and engage, and then get off again.
Good tip. Good tip.
Yeah.
So I know we're coming to the end, so I want to ask you, Anna, how people can get in touch with you. And I also know that you have a free download that you'd like to offer to our listeners. So where would they go to get this, and where can they find you?
Yeah, they can go to, if they're on Facebook, they can go type in Get Savvy Club, and we have a Facebook community, so they can join the Facebook group. Then I'm on LinkedIn personally, which is Anna Geary, which is ANNAGEARY. They're the best ways to get in touch with us. Anita Baldwin also is on LinkedIn. We're both on Facebook and also Instagram, the Get Savvy Club. Not too sure the best way for us to get the download to you, but at the moment we're doing free weekly downloads because we do Tuesday training on the Get Savvy Club.
But is that on your website, or is that on Facebook, or is that
if they go to the Facebook group, every time we do a Tuesday training, there's a link and they can download the free training depending on what we do. So this week's was for five ways to engage your audience. So the best 5 types of posts to put out to engage your audience on social media. And so every week it's a fresh download. So they can jump on, if they join the Get Savvy Club community, then they can get the free downloads every week. Tuesday training, every Tuesday lunchtime we do a training, which will probably be like early morning for you guys, but it's on there to watch later on if you're not up.
Yeah, she's in the UK, so they're about 5 hours ahead of us here.
Yeah.
So
it's first thing in the morning for you, and it's lunchtime for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So just, go to the Get Savvy Club on Facebook, and her name is Anna Geary, which is spelled ANNAGEARY, and see what she has to say. I think it's brilliant. Thank you so much for being with us, Anna. We loved having you.
Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
You've had the opportunity to get to know me over the last few years, and I'd like to get to know you as well. One of the things I'm offering is training for the media. I have a wonderful program that will get you ready for any radio or TV interview you might be offered. Many of you are doing wonderful things, but no one knows about them. Others of you are successful and wonder, what's next? Whether you're in a business or have a special cause or a specific event you're promoting, media can help. And I can help you master your message so you can master the media. If this sounds interesting to you, email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com with media training in the subject line. I promise I will be in touch. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.